Alright, so the first algorithm is linear search. What this one is you go through your list and you basically start at one item, check if it's the thing you're looking for. If it's not, move on to the next and do that until you've found what you're looking for. So if we wanted to find 5 in this list, we would start at 3 because it's the first item. We'll check to see if 3 is what we were looking for. It isn't, so then we just move on to 2. 2 isn't what we're looking for. Move on to the 7. The 7 isn't what we're looking for. Move on to the 5. 5 is what we're looking for. We found it, and the algorithm is complete. The next algorithm is binary search. So let's say we wanted to find 3. We would look at the middle number, and then we would see if what we're looking for is above or below that value. So here, the middle would be in between 4 and 5, so we would take 5, just go to the right. And then if we want to find 3, we would check to see whether it was above or below 5, and it's below 5, so then we would make a new list with everything below 5. And then we would check the middle value, which would be 3 this time, and it is what we're looking for, so we finish. And another important thing is the list has to be sorted, otherwise it won't work. The next algorithm is bubble sort, and this sorts unsorted items. So how it works is you start at the beginning of your list and you compare the first item with the one next to it, and you would see if they're in order. If they are in order, then you leave them alone, but if they're not in order, you would swap them. So here 3 is less than 5, so they're in the right place. And next we move on to comparing the 5 and the 2. 5 is bigger than 2, so we would swap them. And then we move on to the 5 and the 1. The 5 is bigger than the 1, so we would swap them again. And lastly, we would check the 5 and the 4. And the 5 is bigger than the 4, so we would swap them. And you would keep doing this until you have managed to go through all of them without swapping any of them. And at that point, the list is sorted. So do it again. 3 and 2, swap them. 3 and 1, swap them. 3 and 4, they're in the right place, and so is 5. No need to swap those. 2 and 1, swap them. And the rest are in the right place, and then you go through one more time just to check you can go through without swapping them, and then you're done. Alright, the next algorithm is quicksort. The way this one works is you pick the middle item in your list as a pivot, and then you move everything that is less than the pivot to the left of it, and everything that's greater than it to the right. So here we would select the 3 as the pivot, and it would move this 1 over here to the left and this 6 to the right. So we'd be left with 2, 1, 3, 6, and 4. Now the 3 has been chosen as a pivot, so it can't be selected again. And we've also made 2 more lists either side of the 3. So now we want to pick the middle value to be the next pivot in each of those lists. If there are no values in the middle, because like here it'll be here, then just pick the one that's to the right. So we'd pick this 1 and this 4. And then we would again move everything that is less than those pivots to the left and everything that's bigger than those pivots to the right. So we'd be left with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. And now the 1, the 3, and the 4 have been chosen as pivots. So now we would select the 2 and the 6 to be pivots, and we would move numbers accordingly, but there are no numbers left to move, so it's just the same. And now all the numbers have been chosen as pivots, then the list is sorted and the algorithm is complete. Right, the next algorithm is insertion sort. And what this is you basically go left to right through the list and you compare the numbers and basically insert them in the right place. So start, we would look at this 2 and this 6, and we would check to make sure they're in the right place, which they are. So now we move on to the 6 and the 3, and the 3 is less than the 6, so it needs to be swapped with the 6. So we move the 3 here, and then we would go back to the 3 and check that that is in the right place, which it is. It's bigger than 2, so that's fine. And then we could check the 6 and the 4. The 4 is less than the 6, so it needs to be swapped. And again, we would check to see if the 4 is in the right place, which it is. It's bigger than 3, but less than 6. And so now we're comparing the 6 and the 1, which they need swapping. So we would put the 1 here and the 6 there. And I would check the 1 with the 1 that comes before it and check that that's in the right place. Which it's not, because the 1 is less than the 4, so we would want to swap the 1 and the 4. And then we check the 1 again to see if it's in the right place, which it isn't because it's less than 3. So swap it again. And then we would check the 1 against this 2 to see if it's in the right place, which again it needs swapping. And now we've made it all the way through the list from left to right. It's now sorted. The last algorithm is merge sort. To start off merge sort, you have to break down this list into smaller lists. So first we would split this big list in half. So we're left with a list of 3, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 4, 2, 8. And then we would split each of those lists again in half. So now we've got 4 lists, and then we would split those in half again. So now we have 8 lists. And now we're going to merge them back into lists of by comparing 2 values and putting those into a list. And then once we have like a set of lists, we compare the values in like 2 lists and merge those together. So first we start with the 3 and the 5, and we would put them in their own list, which is sorted. And same for the 6 and the 7, the 1 and the 4, and the 2 and the 8. So now we have 4 separate lists, and now we're going to merge the two lists into one sorted list. So first we would look at this 3, 5, and 6, 7, and we make a list, putting them in order as we go. And then same for this list over here. So we go 1, 2, 4, 8. And now we have 2 lists. Now we need to merge them into one list and put them in order as we go. And now we're back to one list. The list is sorted and the algorithm complete.